Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to my channel here at Horsepower Warehouse. I have some absolutely exceptional new cars to show you today, but before I do, I want to walk you through the shop and kind of show you an update of what's been going on since our last meeting. As you guys know, if you have been watching the channel, we specialize in C2 Corvette restorations, so we've got a little bit going on over here. My 64 factory AC automatic car is coming right along. As you can see, we've kind of been doing a fresh up of the engine bay. Everything's been painted, valve covers. I'm kind of re-gasketing a couple of things, just going through and tidying up the engine bay. And this car is pretty close to being available for sale. So I'm excited to have that one. I'm arguably more excited just to have my pressure washing lift back because this is my main cleaning lift and I need my lift back. The 64 here is coming right along as well. This one has had, as you can see, just a tremendous amount of fiberglass work done. I'm going to coat all of the wheel wells, and then this car is pretty much ready to be set down onto the chassis where it will go off to the painter. Just a ton of fiberglass work. I'm so happy to have overcome that hurdle because this car was in really poor shape structurally as far as the glass when it came in here. I didn't know quite how bad it was until we started really tearing into it. But yeah, we've got everything really solid in this car now. The floorboards were really bad as well. So everything is coated and fixed, and it's awesome right now. So it's ready to go back on. This car, we have a set of cylinder heads sitting here. When it came in here, this is a 67 coupe. This is a full restoration. It actually had the wrong heads on it. So it should have had the double hump heads on it, and it did not. In addition to that, the heads that came on the car were actually cracked. I will pop a photo up now and kind of show you. It had a freeze crack in one of the heads, so we were able to locate the correct heads for this car. So those are going off to the machine shop to be mated to the long block, or the short block rather, so that everything is tidy for this and ready for when the chassis comes in. We do have a new chassis located. It's going to be powder coated and kind of par for the course of my build. So that one is chugging right along. You can see the other 67 that we have here, the convertible. I do have the rocker panels in, which are awesome. I'm of course going to refurbish these, but they were in really fantastic shape as far as the anodizing and the polished side of things. So those are expensive and hard to find right now. We have, as we go along through to the front, I also received the audio upgrade, or at least a portion of it. This customer opted to do, so he's an audiophile guy. I absolutely a man cut of my own cloth. I'm into, home theater stuff as well, so I could appreciate he likes Macintosh audio. So I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I was unable to find a Macintosh to integrate into this dashboard in a seamless integration, but it would have been just exceedingly expensive anyhow. What we did opt for was a set of dual 4-ohm modern, these are actually Kicker KS, really good speakers to go in the center location. We are going to augment the rear fill as well in kind of a seamless setup, so I'm not going to spoil that today, but we also have, in addition to the speaker upgrade, a Bluetooth conversion. There's a lot of aftermarket radios available for these cars. This is arguably the higher end of things, maybe even the highest that you can go in kind of a factory look. As you guys can see, when you go from AM to FM, everything changes over as it should. I mean, really nice piece here. These are not cheap. This one is actually manufactured by Antique Automobile Radio Inc. here in Florida, Palm Harbor. So I like this. Again, seamless look, but it has all modern internals. It has Bluetooth. It will drive 4-ohm speakers rather than the factory 8 to 10 ohm with transistor speakers. So just a really nice upgrade at a kind of a pretty price point as well. I mean, you're paying for that bad boy, but I like to represent it. This car, we've been chugging away at both the engine bay and a lot of the interior projects, like for instance the dash has been completely stripped down and gone over. The dash looks fantastic. There's a lot of pieces that need refurbished and dyed in that red color, so that's only the first of many. You can see our chassis is here for that split window on the rotisserie. So concurrently we are doing fiberglass repair in addition to building the chassis on this one out of the parts lot that was provided for us. You can see we have a lot of the stuff laid out. This guy was awesome. He actually provided us with $80,000 to $90,000 worth of parts just in boxes, which is absolutely fantastic. He did a lot of homework in order to even get that far. But in order for me to build this chassis such that I can get that off to paint, I needed to place an order yesterday for about 100 line items worth of hardware and just little stuff. I'm not knocking that guy because he provided me with the most comprehensive part package that I've ever received on one of my builds. So big thumbs up to him. But I did have to place an order for a 100 line item order of just hardware and little stuff just to make sure that this is up to where I want it to be. I don't like to reuse anything on this level of build that doesn't need to be reused. I'm all about refurbishing and keeping this car, you know, a 60s car, but at the same time, I'm not going to reuse hardware that has been well past its usable life. So moving on to our Bloomington car. Now, some of you might be surprised. Holy cow, Junior, you have separated the body from the chassis of a Bloomington Gold 67. This car lost 200 something points of the available 8,000. What the heck is going on here? This is supposed to be here for an oil change, right? Well, not so much. That's what I expected initially when this customer brought this car in. And I'm happy to change the oil in this car. It's beautiful. I love driving it on the lift, and yeah, half an hour and he'll be in and out. Not the case with this car though. Here's what we found. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera how far off that weld is from actually touching that cross member. That piece of plate is not supposed to exist there, so that was put over, but you can see how everything is separated. So this is actually the mounting point for this cross member that holds in your differential and your rear spring. It is under a lot of tension. I would say that this car was, again, I've used this phrase before, it was a solid speed bump away or a good launch. Remember, this is a 427 tri-power. It was a good launch away from being in a real nasty situation. As we go onto the other side, man, this bracket isn't looking a whole lot better, is it, guys? Do you see how big of a gap we have and where the weld is just completely broken? I mean, there's probably an 1/8 inch gap. It is completely broken off the car. Look at that. And I'll have to look through the lens so I can, you see how far off? I mean, it's, oh man. I'm really happy that this guy brought this car to me to look at it, because I am the guy that can make it right. So on the front pinion bracket, you can see how all the nasty welds and how the top is not flush with the cross member here. That should actually be flush with that surface. So they welded that way too high, and then they went, oh crap, so I'm gonna load a bunch of washers here underneath just to make up for it being too high, because then the differential was actually an interference with the body. So man, just wild to me that that I found this on this car. Now, of course, this one is getting a complete chassis restoration. I'm gonna alleviate this car of all these concerns. It's gonna be perfect when we are done. So I'm not knocking the car. I mean, that's my job here, is to make things better than they came. And in this case, of course, I mean, it's going to be a heck of a lot better. Going forth, it's going to be hard to show you all the rest of the cracks, but I'm sure you guys will take my word for it. And as we get further with the disassembly and I flip it over, I'll show you the front. But there are also some more structural cracks in the front, mainly in where the spring pockets meet. So, man, totally unexpected. Now that, remember, this is a restoration that has, I think, 1,200 miles on it. It is a 20-year-old restoration, so it was done in 2003. We're now in 23. So I expected cracked bushings and just dry rotted. Let me go to the front and show you what I'm talking about. Can you see how dry rotted that bushing is? I mean, it's cracked out, and that's representative of pretty much all the rubber on the car, which is, you know, again, 20-year-old rubber. It's going to do that. Doesn't matter if it was stored and air conditioned. This was in a big lineup of a collection of really high-end C2s for the 20 years. So that explains why it was never driven. Very interesting. I'm excited to show you guys how we progress with this build. I'm going to make this just absolutely fantastic when we're done. My 66 Nassau car. I remember last time I was talking about how hard it was to get a grill for this. Ta-da! The grill is in. It looks just beautiful. So happy to have that in. Now I can put in bumper brackets and bumpers and keep going with that. Should have air conditioning this week. So also excited to have that so I can continue with the dash installation. Let's walk through. You can see we have the laptop hooked up to the Camaro here. So we're continuing with the Holley programming. This is probably going to be my thumbnail for today, guys, because I have such a super exceptional car to show you. This is a 1960, but it is one of 56 that was outfitted in this configuration. That is power convertible top, power windows, and white hardtop. You heard me right, power convertible top. This is something that I've not seen before, at least not through my shop. This is a fully nut and bolt restored car. Beautifully done. Looks like it has 3,062 miles on the build. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, the build was done, you know, exceptionally as well. It's not one of my builds, by the way. I'm not representing this as my own. I would never do that if I didn't truly build it myself. I just have appreciation for someone doing a job well done. Really, really cool to have a power car, you know, with the power windows and the power soft top. Hard top is right there with the white, so I'm sure it looks fantastic with the white coves and the big white walls. Hey, Denny. I just want to, before I end this video, show you this 190 up front. This car is absolutely exceptional as well. Wouldn't be a true gearhead without kind of showcasing this gorgeous car that we have up front. Really neat BMW bike as well. I like it. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like my content, please consider liking, subscribing. I would genuinely appreciate it. Until next time, take care.